Today I want to talk about joy, purpose, and finding your passion. And a lot of this came to me when I was in a meditation earlier this morning, and suddenly it sort of, the penny dropped on the link between joy and purpose in life. And I think in these current times, especially, a lot of people don't know their purpose, feel like they've lost their purpose, are feeling a bit aimless. And that sense of purpose seems to be absolutely paramount to good health, mental, emotional, physical, and human beings. We need to know that we're here for a reason, and that reason is a big part of expressing who we are. And when we can't express who we are in the world, this leads to feelings of worthlessness, to worry, to anxiety, feeling lost, feeling like life's just not got what you're looking for. And really, the key is that we look at it the wrong way. So we expect and look for our joy and our purpose out in the world. And yes, the world is there for us to fulfill what we're here to do and for us to express who we are, and the world will give us moments of joy, but both our joy and our fulfillment and our purpose really come from within us. And it's also, I realized this morning, it's a choice that we make. So joy fuels passion. When we feel joy, we feel inspired, we feel enthusiastic, we feel passionate. And we often think that we need to find the passion and the purpose to find the joy, but it actually works the other way around. So if we look for joy, if we follow the joy in every moment of every day, we find our passion and our purpose. And the reason for this is because joy is one of the highest vibrations that comes from our heart chakra. And it leads directly to soul. And when we open to joy, we open to the messages and guidance from our soul. So this becomes a moment by moment decision. I was thinking about this yesterday when I was doing lots of jobs in the house, and they were necessary little bits. You know, one of those days where you do lots, but you don't feel like you get anywhere because you're not doing anything major. You're just tying up loose ends at a lot of admin jobs and things that you wouldn't really look to find joy in, but they're mundane, they need doing. And I realized that in each of those jobs, there was joy to be found if I looked for it, if I reframed how I saw what I was doing, even if it's just the fulfillment that you've got something, the joy that you've got something sorted, that it's over, that it's done. But what I also realized is that yesterday was a series of moments, and each of those moments I could have got bogged down in, oh, I don't want to do this, I shouldn't, all that mental sort of rubbish that goes on in your mind. Or I could have just in the moment got on with doing what needed to be done, breathing, being present, noticing, and then moving on to the next thing. And what happened in the end was a day of little mini bursts of joy as I achieved and fulfilled a whole lot of little things that probably in the grand scheme of things, no one will even know that I even did yesterday. But each one of those things needed doing in that moment. That was what was needed. And at the end of the day, there was a sense of accomplishment that came from being present to each of those, rather than spending the whole time in a mental battle of why I wasn't enjoying this and why I didn't want to do this and why this was hard and why this person, when you're on hold and trying to sort out, you know, admin, insurance, council tax matters, why the person wasn't responding and all of that. I just took those times to just rest and be. And then when I decided I needed to get out of the house and go for a walk, that again was coming from oh yeah, I need some fresh air. I need to get out. And as I was walking along, I could have been very mindful that I had limited time to go for a walk and needed to be back for a certain time to get X, Y, Z done. And then I thought, do you know what? I'm going to forget about time. And I just walked and I listened to the birds and I was watching a robin and I noticed some hawthorn and blossom and I went right up to it and took photos of it. Have you ever really looked at hawthorn flowers? They're beautiful. And the sun came out, and in a short space of time, I felt incredible joy because I embraced the moment. And really, joy is our purpose and our passion. Because when we find joy, it means that we are expressing who we are in that moment. We're present as a soul. We're embracing what is. And there is always joy to be found in every situation, every single situation. I mean, we watch films, we listen and read books about people who are inspiring, who have found joy and a sense of purpose and the will to continue in the most dire situations. And it all depends upon how you look at it. So you can see a glass half empty, or you can see a glass half full, or you can see a glass that can always be refilled. And how much joy you experience, tapping into joy, we realize is a choice. It's a choice you can make in every single moment. And sometimes if you can't find the joy, the way to open the heart, to open to that feeling of joy is to be grateful. And that's just to be grateful. You know, when I was on hold waiting for someone to move up in the queue, I was just grateful to have a little bit of time to rest. I had a cup of tea. I just sat and had my cup of tea and looked upon that time on hold as, oh, it's nice to have a little break in the busyness of the day. And then when the person came on, I was in a good mood. That put them in a good mood. It was a pleasant interaction. And, you know, they were, have a good day. Yeah, you too. It was a nice interaction. Now, that could have been me very angry because I was on hold for a long time. It could have been a stressful interaction for that person on the other end of the phone. And it could have been for me as well. I should be doing this and I need to be doing this and my time's more important. And why am I on hold? And why is this organization rubbish? And. Or you could just sit and have a cup of tea and think, well, this is how it is. Be grateful when the person does answer. Be grateful when the problem is sorted out. And this is just an attitude of how we look at it. And so when we follow our joy, we open our heart and we will find purpose and fulfillment. And it might not be that we're here for a great grand purpose in this lifetime, that we're going to set the world on fire and we're going to make some huge transformation that will impact mankind. It might be that our purpose is that each and every moment of our day, we make a small contribution to the world. And I was listening to a podcast yesterday that reminded me of the story of the man on the beach with the starfish. And you probably know this story. There'd been a storm and a whole lot of starfish had washed up on the beach. And there was a man down there just picking up starfish by starfish and throwing them back into the sea. And another person came along and said, why are you bothering? You know, look at all these starfish. They're going to die. Why are you bothering? And the man picks up the starfish, throws it back in. He said, well, it made a difference to that one. You know, so each moment we can make a difference. And that difference might just be that we choose to be present, we choose to be grateful, and we choose to open to the joy. And a whole day of little purposes, like I experienced yesterday, a whole day that you could have said, well, what was yesterday all about in the grand scheme of the world? If that was my last day on earth, is that really how I want to live? Or you could say, No, that was a day of little bits of joy and purpose, all added up to a really good day of sense of fulfillment. I'm following my heart. I'm expressing who I am. And this is where joy comes from. Joy doesn't come, it isn't something that comes from the outside world into us. It's something we open up and find inside us. It's like a flame that's in there that our mind and our thoughts and our perspective and our attitude either keeps that flame burning or extinguishes it. And I think the heavy feelings of anxiety and despair and depression are when that flame has been extinguished by a mind that's caught up in the past, a mind that's caught up in how things should be, how a mind caught up in wanting to control each moment, rather than letting that past be in the past, coming into the present and finding the joy. Because when you open to the moment, you open, there is always joy in the simple opening of your heart. So embracing what is, whatever it is, even if it's really difficult. You might be in the midst of having to give up something really difficult, but in that moment there's that feeling, this is what needs to happen. And for another door to open, this one has to close. This is the right thing at the right time. There's a sense of rightness about even really difficult, challenging times. So you can think, well, how does somebody who perhaps doesn't seem to have a very fulfilling job find joy in that job or a very fulfilling life? They choose to, because they know that the joy comes from within. And we feel joy when we express who we are, when we let that light, that flame, we let it build, and it just cannot help but shine out of us. And it can shine in the most mundane ways each and every moment of our life until we get to the end of the day and that was a good day. Thank you. That was a really good day, because we let our natural essence, which is joy, we let it flow into each moment in our life by choice. And in this way, life becomes, you might not have a grand purpose, or you might have a grand purpose for which each and every day are just stepping stones or little parts of that purpose. And really your purpose is to show up and shine and be who you are. That's your purpose. It's to come into the world and bring the unique you, the qualities and the energy and the vibration and the notes and the colors and everything that is uniquely you, to bring that into your world in each and every moment. And it's only by being open, and we open when we look for the joy, when we are grateful, when we recognize when our mind is falling into the traps of should be, could be, all of that sort of mind stuff. When we're in the moment, we're not thinking, okay? When we're caught up in thinking, we're in the past, or we're projecting into the future. When we're present, that's when we experience awe and beauty, and we experience, we intuitively tune into the higher dimensions and the higher energies and vibrations of a moment. People say, how did you know that? You might pick up on something and it's how could you not know that? It's just because I was present. We pick up on how someone is feeling. Because we're present, we're feeling their vibration. We're not caught up in our own thoughts and our own planned response and our own, oh, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. We're just here and we pick up, this person's not happy. And so we're there for them, and they feel we're there for them. And before we know it, there's some healing has happened. So being present is the key to finding your inner joy and expressing it out into the world. And this is what is to be joyful, to be full of joy, because we are naturally joyful. If you've ever spent time around small children before they've had their mind programs by life and our society and adults and everything, they're naturally joyful. They naturally find joy in everything. They'll find joy in a worm wriggling through the dirt. Do you know what I mean? That's our inherent nature. And as adults, we often get so caught up in how life should be, what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. It's not going the way, this person is not answering my call and I need to be here and do that. And we get caught up in all of that when we're missing all the joy and we're not living our life and we fulfill our purpose by showing up in every moment and we will find if we have a higher calling, if we have a passion that we're here to fulfill, some way that we can help and make a difference and express ourselves in the world, that's almost part of a contract with our soul for this lifetime. We'll find it through our joy. We won't find it any other way because it's that passion. Joy ignites that spark. And before you know it, you've got so much energy and you're following a path and you're enthused about something and you just want to do something. It's your everything. And you found your purpose. But it might be that you can find your purpose. You can find that through joy each and every moment. You could have a mundane, ordinary day that becomes a day full of joy, a day in which you are expressing who you are, and that's your purpose for the day. Your purpose is to be present in everything you do in that day, and that brings you joy and it spreads the joy. Because when we operate from an open heart and that flame and that passion and that joy is kind of coming from us, it affects other people. Oh boy, it affects other people. And what it does is it turns on their joy. It ignites, it's like a little switch that ignites their burner. And, the best example, if we want to really make a difference to people, is just show up and be authentic, be yourself, be your joy. And that will help them find theirs. And it's a subtlety. It's on an energetic, vibrational level. So that's what I wanted to share today. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a meditation today in which we simply, I'll take you deep down into a peaceful state following the breath. And then we're just going to observe thoughts coming into our mind and let them go, so that we develop the strong muscle, the strong mental muscle through meditation, that we don't necessarily hold and believe every thought that comes into our mind. We almost bring it up for our observation and then we let it go, recognizing that thoughts are simply thoughts and the space between them is who we are. So in the moment of letting that thought go, you're coming back to who you are. And this will help you to find your joy and find your passion, because you'll find it much easier to let situations go in life when you've practiced in meditation, just simply observing thoughts and letting them go, coming back to a place, the space, the peace between the thoughts, which is where your light shines. And as you practice this in meditation, your capacity to do this, your capacity to hold your presence, because when you are observing thoughts, you are the witness. That is when you are your soul, you are present. And so you're practicing being present, and you're practicing letting go thoughts. Regardless, some of them might be really good. If you get a really good idea pops in there, you still let it go, but you can ask it to come back at a better time. So you're not going to lose it. You can say, you're a good idea. That's quite an inspiring thought. Can you come back when I've finished my meditation? I want that one, because that one's got it's got a good energy about it, that one's lit my fire. Okay. So this is what we're going to do in the meditation. And this does develop something that's very important spiritually, emotionally, mentally, a key to navigating life, especially as life gets more difficult in the outside world. And that is it develops this muscle where you know you have a choice. So if choice seems to be shutting down in your external world, you always have a choice in your internal world. And that's what I'm saying. Joy is a choice. It's a choice you make in every moment. And so in your meditation, you're choosing, I'm letting that go. I'm letting that go. And that choice muscle gets really strong. And the other thing that develops, quite without you even realizing, is your capacity for discrimination, your capacity to recognize when something coming into your mind has a different quality about it, when it has a quality of truth or it is inspiring, to recognize when an intuitive insight from your soul pops in and you're like, oh, yeah. We still let it go, because in the meditation, we're developing this mind muscle of letting go. But we can ask that one to come back. We can say, yeah, come back. That's one that's of real value. And we'll know because it'll spark joy. When something sparks joy, it's your soul talking to you. Okay. So if you look for the joy, you're saying to your soul, I'm here. I'm looking for help. I'm looking for guidance. Help me, guide me, show me. And you develop this wonderful dialogue, this inner knowing, this intuitive inner tuition. And the tuition comes from your soul, from your higher self. So no more talking. Get yourself comfortable. So you want to be reasonably upright, just so that your chakras and your energy is aligned vertically. Feet on the floor, ideally uncrossed. And just, you don't have to be rigid, but sitting comfortably upright. Shoulders relaxed. And now we're just going to gently close our eyes. I want you to connect to the energy of our earth, because whenever we connect to the earth, we become present and we bring our mind into our body. And this brings us into a coherence and an integration. So imagine that you're sending energy down through your feet or through the base of your spine, right down into the energy of the earth. So you're connecting with home. And now I want to bring you into the present moment. And we do this by focusing on senses. So I want you to feel your body sitting on the chair. I want you to be aware of the clothes on your skin. Be aware of any smells in the room, any tastes of this moment. Now open your sense of listening and just let the sounds of this moment come in. Just practice accepting them as they are. Simply listening. And now we're going to take this awareness to your breath. And our breath is what connects us to life. So just notice your breath. And then slowly and gently, just letting your breath deepen. Let it slow. Until it's comfortable to breathe from your belly. And just keep a gentle awareness on your breath, watching it come into your body, watching it leave. And taking the breath deeper into the body will relax the physical body. Now I want you to let your mind rest on the breath, and this relaxes your mind. As you breathe slowly and deeply, the thoughts in your mind will calm down, they'll slow down, and there's more space between them. So it's easier to observe them. So just keeping a gentle focus on your breath. You will find that you become aware of a deep peace inside of you. And it might be that you're fleetingly aware because your thoughts pull your attention away. When you realize that has happened, just come back to the breath because it will anchor you in the peace. And this discipline of coming back to the breath develops our mental discipline. We take back control of our mind and therefore our life. But it's gentle, it's not forced. When your mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. And practice bringing it back with joy, like you've returned home. And just let your mind settle on the breath and rest in this peace. And you will find that you become aware of thoughts moving through your mind. You'll see them arise, move through your mind. You can be aware of what they are and then make a choice to let them go. Sometimes when we do this, the mind will quieten and there'll be fewer thoughts. If this is the case, just enjoy the peace. But as thoughts arise, see them as an opportunity to develop your mental muscle, to recognize you have choice, and to step into that freedom. When you recognize that your mind is being distracted by thoughts, however enticing, just come back to the breath, come back to the peace, and choose to let those thoughts go. If they're thoughts that you want in your mind to hold in your mind at a later time, invite them to come back at a better time. Even thoughts about how much you're enjoying the peace, let them go. Or thoughts about not being able to find the peace, let them go. The peace resides behind the thoughts. And now gently just start to come back into an awareness of your physical body, sitting on the chair, still keeping your eyes closed, but just moving, stretching, releasing the observation in your mind. What we're going to do is, as we open our eyes, we're going to come into this moment completely new and fresh. So we're going to open our eyes with complete awareness, being present and letting all of the information just come in through our sight of this moment in time. So I want you to consciously open your eyes and just observe. And notice that when you open your eyes out of meditation in this way, you see the world, even for a fleeting moment or two. You see the beauty, you connect with the joy before the thinking, the analyzing, the story in your mind kicks in. And that is really starting. So you arise out of meditation, bringing the peace, bringing the joy and the connection to yourself. You bring it into this moment. And what will be reflected back to you in this moment is yourself. So when you come into the moment and you're open and present, you see the beauty, the truth, the goodness, the joy. And that is really a reflection of you because you are present. And this practice of a meditation where you just let thoughts go is very powerful, because what it does is it gives you the capacity in your everyday life to choose joy. So you know that in many situations, we might be asked to make a choice. And it might be something quite small. What are you going to do today? Or it might be something huge. What are you doing with your life? And in that moment of choice, we will become aware of conflict within us. And often there's a lot of messages of, well, I should do this and I should do that, and other people want me to do this, and this would be best for other people, and lots of conditioning based on old beliefs, lots of people pleasing, lots of stuff getting in the way. But we know that there is another choice that's trying to get a word in, and that's what we really would like to do. And that's something that it comes from our heart. And sometimes we're so immersed in everybody else's everything that we've lost our connection to that. And it's almost put your hand on your heart. What do I really want to do? And the practice of this meditation gives us the courage and the strength to say, well, actually, what I want to do is this. And risk putting our heart's desire, following our joy, and saying, well, this is what I want, regardless of whether that's going to suit people, that's going to be what you should do, you shouldn't do, that's going to be what someone like you does. All of that's gone. It's just pure, this is what I want to do. And it might be that just in expressing that is a huge leap forward for us, because we're saying, this is who I am. Authentically, honestly, truthfully, this is who I am. This is what I want. Now, it might not be that you get what you want, but you get into a discussion of a compromise because somebody else is coming from their heart saying what they want. And this is assuming there's no coercion and power play going on here. This is assuming, and if there is, you still just say what you want. You follow your joy. You have the courage to follow that little voice inside. It's like when you're walking along. I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you go for a walk out in nature and there's two paths, one always looks brighter. Sun might be shining that way and it looks darker that way. You just have this inkling you want to go that way, but other people with you might say, oh, we're going this way, and you're like, but you let it. I wanted to go that way. It's always there. How much you listen to it may have determined how in touch you are with it and whether you follow it, or it might just be a little quiet voice going, I didn't want to do that. I wanted this. And the practice of this meditation will just it'll put you back in touch with that intuitive, soul-directed, heartfelt message. Because when we do what is right for us, it is best for all. And that, I'll say that again, because this is a really hard one to get your head around, especially if you're used to accommodating other people. When we do what's right for us, and when I say right, I'm talking about alignment with your highest. I'm not talking about anything to do with mind and manipulation and selfish and all of that. I'm talking about connection to heart, to soul. When we do what's right for us, it's always best for all. How many times have you not done what you wanted to do from your heart? And there's been huge regret, and in hindsight, oh, if only I'd done that. And you've learned the lesson of not following your joy. And sometimes we get bashed over the head by life many times before we get that one. And also it brings up a very strong challenge to a belief that many people have. And that is the belief that life is happening to me. And it's almost like life's a struggle, life's a challenge, life is happening to me. I just got to sort of battle through. To the belief that life is happening for me. And when we make that small shift from to me to for me, we realize that every single moment is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to challenge that belief. If something really dire, really tough, really challenging is happening to you in this moment, it's still for you. It's giving you, it's opening you up. You're finding you're bold, you're brave, your courage. It's exercising that muscle. It's giving you the choice to speak up. It's giving you a choice to do it differently this time, to follow your passion, to follow your joy, to say, even if in a quiet voice, this is what I want. And sometimes it can help to start by writing it down. So if you're not yet up to saying to other people, this is what I want, write it in a journal, develop the muscle that way, write your dreams, write and that is a dialogue with your higher self that will build the courage and the strength to be able to say, well, this is what I want. This is what my heart's desire is. And if you really can't, you don't know what you want, you don't know what your heart's desire is, just practice finding the joy in each and every moment, and you'll develop, you'll open that channel to your joy, to your passion, to your purpose. And once you have passion, joy, and purpose, oh my goodness, every moment of your life, no matter how mundane or how extraordinary, becomes no longer ordinary. They all become extraordinary because you are expressing who you are. And that's the key. That's the key. So we're understanding the joy comes from inside of me and directs my choices outside of me. And that's really the key. So see how you get on with that and practice that meditation where you just let things go to develop that mental muscle of choice so that you tap into that peace and that freedom that comes from knowing peace is always there no matter what's going on. No one can take it away from you. Namaste.